Hello, good afternoon. My name is Carlton Morvan. I am the president of the Dominica Chess Federation, and I have here with me Grandmaster Nigel Schotts, who is a world chess championship contender and three-time British champion, and a lot more actually. But we'll get into that a little bit later. All right. So first of all, I want to thank you guys for coming here and listening to us. We are going to tell you about the Chess Federation, the Dominica Chess Federation, and what we have been doing on island and actually regionally and internationally. The Dominica Chess Federation initially was, how can I put it, unofficially formed in 2021 when Grandmaster Nigel Schott visited Dominica. Um, he, I believe, Daniel Scotland at the time, who was just a curious chess player of Dominica, trying to find out why does Dominica not have a chess federation, and he made contact with Grandmaster Nigel Schott, and by some way, somehow convinced him to come to this remote island, this beautiful gem, and he came here, and in his presence, having a meeting, we formed an interim executive of the Dominica Chess Federation. We were not officially recognized as that as yet. We had to, of course, get the federation registered with the Companies and Intellectual Property Office, and we had to seek permission to use the name Dominica as part of our name. Of course, you cannot just form an organization and put Dominica in the name. You have to get permission to do that. So we had to go through all the channels. There was a bit of a rough road, trying to convince the FIDE to allow us to join because of there were certain issues with us joining at the time. I think one of it was our fees. Is that correct? Or we had the fees we had to pay, and we were a bit late. So we were joining at a time, and I know for sure they had made a request for us to get a letter from the Dominica Olympic Committee, which we also did that as well. And in February of 2022, the Dominica Chess Federation was officially registered and formed as the body to represent Dominica in chess and to be responsible for chess on the island. Now, our objective with the Dominica Chess Federation is to grow and to spread and grow chess and chess players on the island of Dominica, right? So our key objective is to spread chess around Dominica. And chess has been played in Dominica for years. Even before the idea of having a chess federation, I was playing chess. I knew chess players, and I just didn't know of the existence of a chess federation at the time. That there was an international chess federation. I didn't know that, but we were playing chess. We like chess. We played chess. And when the idea was brought up for us to have a chess federation, a number of us were excited about that. At the time, the interim executive consisted of Nigel Francis, he was the president. Our vice president was Ross Boyd. Our general secretary was Daniel Scotland, now Dr. Daniel Scotland. Our treasurer was Larry Thomas. Our PRO was Dr. Lyndon Ogis. And our assistant secretary treasurer was Robert Brady. And myself, I was the technical advisor, Carlton Morvan. Later on, we had our first official election sanctioned by when we had our first election, we had not ratified our constitution as yet. Then when we had our first election ratified by the constitution, Nigel Francis became the president. Dr. Lyndon Ogis was the vice president. Larry Thomas was now the technical advisor. Brandon Henry was the treasurer, and Dorothy John Baptist was our PRO, and well, our assistant secretary treasurer remained as Robert Brady, and our general secretary, Dr. Daniel Scotland. And I, at that point, I was no longer on the executive, and we were moving forward. To date, we have had a number of local tournaments, but I'm just going to mention the main ones being our national championship in 2022. Nigel Francis emerged the winner. He's now candidate master Nigel Francis. He was the winner. In 2023, we had another tournament and Nigel again won, so he retained his title. In 2024, we had another national tournament and Robert Brady took that title, and he is now our current national champion. We have our national chess championship coming up later on this year, and I will expound on that a little bit more in a while. We have also had a women's championship, and Ayani Kazimi, she was 15 years of age, and she won that championship in 2024. So also we're going to have another women's championship this year. So she's our first women chess champion, woman chess champion in Dominica, right? We also had a school, inter-secondary schools chess tournament, and that was won by the St. Mary's Academy. The members of that team were Otis Nesty, Noah Sorrendo, Lucas Sorrendo, Kajani Deja, Amir Labad, and Imani Henry. So it was 6 teams, 6 players per team, 7 schools participated in that competition. And in the final, St. Mary's Academy went up against the Isaiah Thomas Secondary School, and the St. Mary's Academy initially they tied in the regular round, so it went 2-2. They won 2 games each, so it was 4 games played. They won 2 games each, and then there was a tiebreaker, and the St. Mary's Academy emerged victorious after the tiebreaker. Later down in 2024, in December, we had our first Dominica Chess Federation under 18 Junior Chess Championship. And the winner of that championship was young Kijani Peltier of the Isaiah Thomas Secondary School. And he actually won that tournament, winning all of his games. It was a 9-round tournament, and he won all of his games in all 9 rounds. So that was very impressive. He went undefeated in that tournament, and I'm wondering, that might be a record that might stand for a while. So, we have done some work on the island as far as, setting up tournaments and setting up avenues for chess players to showcase their skills. Going beyond that, we have taken part in various international and regional activities. If you look at the regional activities, we attended the CARICOM Classic in 2024 and 2025. Dominica showed a representation of a team of two male and two women in 2024. That was the first edition of the CARICOM Classic in Guyana, held in Guyana. And again in 2025, which was back in June into July, they had the second edition of the CARICOM Classic. And Dominica showed a representation, again with a team of two male players, 2 female players. And in addition to that, they added the junior section, and we had a junior representative, Kajani Deja, represented Dominica at that tournament, and he did pretty well, considering his first tournament, his first regional tournament, and he had to play against players, from federations that have been long-standing federations and have programs that we are looking to implement into our federation. They have coaches for their junior players, and they have all this kind of thing. So they have been investing in their players, which is what we are looking to do as well. Going well. I don't know if how to refer to it, regional, international, because we did a tournament in Venezuela in 2023. That was the Alba Games, and that well, for sure it was the first time they had Dominica participated in chess in the Alba Games, and it was a new experience again. It This time it was not a team, it was individual, but they did cater for us to have four players participate in that tournament. So we went with four players, and it's it was a great experience just to have those players participate. So we were making steps internationally, and the biggest tournament or competition we have participated in to date would be the 44th and 45th World Chess Olympiad in 2022 and in 2024. In 2022, this competition was held in Chennai, India, and we represented with a team of five male players. That would be Nigel Francis, Larry Thomas, Robert Brady, Lyndon Ogis, and Brandon Henry. So these five players represented Dominica at the 44th World Chess Olympiad in Chennai, India. In 2024, the Dominica Chess Federation not only represented with a male team, but we also had a team for the women's section. The male team consisted of Larry Thomas, Nigel Francis, Dr. Lyndon Ogis, Robert Brady, and as well Jones Murphy. He's a national master he earned his national master title with the U.S. Chess Federation, and when the Dominica Chess Federation formed, being a Dominican, he switched to the Dominica Chess Federation to lend support to us. He's a high rated. He's currently our highest rated player, and it's good that he you know could be in the U.S. Chess Federation as a national master, but chose to move over to the Dominica Chess Federation to lend us his strength, and he was able to represent us at the 45th Olympiad in Budapest, Hungary. At that Olympiad is where Nigel Francis became candidate master Nigel Francis, and we got our first title player in Dominica from that Olympiad. So that was very good for the federation, going forward. It's motivation to say that we can get there, and all we need to do is put the effort and put the work. We are looking to get coaches for our youth players, because these guys are interested in chess. I mean, if you saw the turnout for the youth tournament, it was our biggest turnout for any tournament we have hosted locally, right? The under 18 tournament, over that, 25 youth participated in that tournament, right? The youth are showing interest, and this year it looks like it's going to be bigger this year, because even more youth showing interest, and the fact that we somehow enticed the grandmaster to come here and take them on in some games. I think that's going to even encourage them more to want to come into that kind of event. And I can actually see, I've met some of the youth, and some of them are new, as in they were not participating in chess events last year, but I have met some of them since becoming the president, and they have started participating in events. Now, Talking about me being the president in May this year, we had our annual general meeting and our election, and elected a new executive, being me, Carlton Morvan as president, Mr. Edgar Berridge as vice president, candidate master Nigel Francis as the treasurer, Dr. Daniel Scotland, our general secretary, our assistant secretary slash treasurer, Mr. Romel Loda, and our public relations officer, Ms. Ludmila Dominova, and our technical assistant, Mr. Larry Thomas. Our previous president, Mr. Ian Dorival, he was the president for the past 2 years up until 2025, and he still continues to assist the federation. So we have to show him recognition because he does. Largely thanks to him, we got this sponsorship from Fort Young Hotel, and they allowed us to use their space for this press conference that we are having right now. We also had our simultaneous exhibition yesterday at the Fort Young Hotel again. So we have to give large thanks to Fort Young Hotel. Before I even go any further into and start discussing our plans for the future, I must recognize our sponsors that we have had. Our sponsors, HHV Church, under their Big W brand, they sponsored a number of our tournaments. Tropical Shipping gave a sponsorship for our youth tournament coming up. We've also, when we were going to Guyana, we had the support of the Dominican Olympic Committee, but there's some there's the amounts that we needed for that sponsorship. They explained to us that we would need to break that down and seek other sponsorship, but they were ready, willing to support us. They were there for us. We went and we sought additional sponsorship, and we got sponsorship from Big Edge, Belfast Estate Limited, Springfield Trading Limited, Archipelago Trading Limited, sorry, and the Dominican National Lottery, or the National Lottery Commission, right? They sponsored us along with the DOC to get us to Guyana to participate in the CARICOM Classic this year. Going beyond that, we of course we must recognize the Fortune Hotel for giving us the space here today. Um, Additional sponsorships, again, we have to recognize the sports division. They usually provide us with gear to travel in to show that we're representing Dominica, and not just that. So we looking to now partner with everybody. All the businesses. You want we have partnered with businesses before, and we're looking to do more partnerships with more businesses. Going into our future plans, again, the youth. I have been in discussions with coaches, trying to find the pricing for youth coaching. And so far, I have contacted two coaches. That is Jomo Peterson in Jamaica and Shane Matthews again, Jamaican. And these guys have coached Jamaican youth, and the Jamaican young players, they are doing well. Jamaica actually won the CARICOM Classic this year in Guyana. So, Jomo also works with the Cayman Islands Chess Federation, their senior team. So these guys are serious coaches, and if we can get them and guys like them to take on our youth, then we can start elevating their chess and getting them to a point that we can get more masters, higher masters, because beyond the candidate master, we have FIDE master, we have international master, we have grandmaster. One of our big takers that big things, projects we want to take on sports tourism. That's a area that we want to tackle. We want to use chess to market Dominica, to increase the visibility of Dominica. I remember at a meeting a CCA meeting, the president of the Puerto Rico Chess Federation said to me, I was in Dominica about 10 years ago on a cruise ship, and I got off the ship looking for, because everywhere he goes, he wants to play chess, looking for chess players, and he couldn't find anyone. And I was like, at that point, we were playing chess. We just didn't have a federation, but we played. So, I'm thinking there must be more people like him looking for that. And then even going beyond that, once we can give Dominica that visibility, we can start hosting tournaments, international tournaments, regional tournaments. We can host those things. There are zonal tournaments within our region that we can start bidding for to get things like that done. So that's just one of the things. Another thing we want to do, which is very big and I think important, we want to work with businesses. We can help your employees. We can teach them to play chess. Chess improves your cognitive skills. And if you have employees that are able to think critically and solve problems, you're boosting your product right there. Your productivity is going to increase, and that's just a guaranteed fact. And if we are looking to enter discussions with various companies, businesses, that we can actually implement such a program to teach employees and maybe children of employees as well. If you want to have your family playing chess, so these are the type of discussions we want to have with people. Recently we had a national chess festival on the promenade, and people came. We had a good showing, but this is not going to be the first or the last. It was the first, sorry, but it's not going to be the last. We are looking to have it again next year, even bigger and better. So we want to also enter discussions with businesses who would be interested in partnering on such an activity. And we are really looking to push not just chess but Dominica. Chess is going to move, right? If a few players just take chess seriously, they can move, and there's a federation there for them. They can make it. The federation will do whatever it takes to help them. But what we want is not just for chess to move. We want chess to move and Dominica to move with chess and because of chess. We want chess to be a major factor in Dominica's growth and development. So I don't want to take too much more time away from the man of the hour. So let me just introduce Grandmaster Nigel Schwartz. He is, like I said, a world championship contender, three-time British champion. He is the only chess player to be champion on 6 different continents. And now he is even trying to get to be champion on the 7th continent. Guess which continent? Yeah, he wants to be the Antarctica champion. So hopefully I can make that tournament. I'd like to play in that tournament. I plan to give him a hard time there. So I'll train hard. I'll train hard to come and play against you. So let me just turn over to the man of the hour so he can tell you much more about himself and how he has assisted the Chess Federation in the Dominica Chess Federation and his achievements over the time.
Yeah, thank you, Carlton. Um, I've been passionate about promoting chess in the Commonwealth Caribbean for many years, and one of the things I noticed within FIDE, FIDE is a very very large sporting body. It's one of the largest sporting organizations in the world. Of course, it's behind FIFA. It's behind So it's behind basketball in terms of numbers of members. It's got more members than cricket does. It's a more global game than cricket, but it's right up there among the largest sporting organisations. So I undertook a tour of the Commonwealth Caribbean in 2019, originally, where I wanted to visit some of the countries that didn't have federations. So, and my tour included, it was Grenada, St. Vincent and the Grenadines, St. Lucia, St. Kitts and Nevis, and also the Cayman Islands. And so I had that visit, and I was hoping to establish at a minimum 2 federations out of those 5. After that tour, no less than 4 of those federations were established. I think it's very curious, actually. It's like playing chess and speaking English don't go together, because there were so many of those countries that didn't have a chess federation at the time, with the exception of India, where, of course, they're very serious about their chess. It's the dominant chess country these days. So that was a tour, and I came back later to revisit St. Vincent and the Grenadines, and in the meantime I had been contacted by Daniel Scotland, and he was saying, why don't we have a federation? And I spoke to him and I said, do you know people who play chess? He said he knew a few people who play chess. I said, well, if you want to start a federation, it can't be 2 men and a dog. You have to have more than 2 men and a dog. You need a bigger community. And the community existed, and it exists. So one thing I will say, chess is always more popular than you think it is. And I'll give you some examples of that. If we're talking about Commonwealth Caribbean, West Indies, there are some older federations. Jamaica is quite old. Barbados, Trinidad and Tobago is also quite old. But just to mention Guyana's not that older federation, maybe 20 years now, approximately, something like that. And you speak to the people there. So I was speaking to the president, the current president, Anand, and I was asking him about how long has chess been played in Guyana. He said, well, we've been going this amount of time, but we know there was some chess activity in Guyana in the 1960s. That was his great claim, that they were playing chess in the 1960s. I was lying in bed one evening, and I was reading British Chess Magazine from 1897, and it was already clear in 1897 they were playing chess. And not only that the tournament they were having was already in its 13th edition. So it's actually going way back in the 19th century. I don't know about the story here in Dominica. I would not be surprised if it's the same, that if you bother to go through the records, you will find that people were playing here. Numbers of chess players, as I say, they're always higher than you think that they are. If you will go on one server, the largest chess server, chess.com, on any day, you will find literally tens of millions of games of chess being played. And they're being played by people all around. And I have a bet with Carlton now, because I'm the federation currently has 65 members, and I have a bet with him that there are more than 1,000 players from Dominica playing on chess.com. That is my bet, and I'm very, very confident I will win, because I know the sort of people, and it's very interesting. I mean, what's the population of the country? It's 70,000 or something, and when you start talking to people, you discover all sorts of people play chess. I was up there; they've got a large outside board upstairs, and there was a lady there, the concierge, and started talking to her, and she said, "Yeah, I went out and I bought a chess set, and I don't know anything about it, but I'm very interested to learn and to play." These are the people that we need, and we are. We're coming across them all the time. So, we talk to the Minister of Tourism, and she's saying her family members are playing. So to find 1 in 70 in this country, it's easy. It will be in the several thousands. I've got absolutely no doubt about it. You just go round. I mean, people, they may not say, "I am a chess player," but they know how to play the game. The familiarity is always much, much higher than you think. So I'm glad to return here after 4 years, and to see the progress of the federation. It's definitely advanced. You spoke about the difficulties of joining FIDE. These are actually the regulations for all our federations, so there is not any exceptionally tough treatment for Dominica to join. You have to register, because if you don't have if your federation is not registered, is not a legal entity, it doesn't exist legally. So there was nothing exceptional there, and so on. So the federation has advanced. What I would like to see is a broader base, because it's very simple that the bigger the base, the higher the pyramid, the stronger the people are going to get. So the base is not broad enough. And really, although we are interested in people of absolutely all ages playing, it's a very, very inclusive game. Chess doesn't care whether you're young or old, whether you're rich or poor, whether you're male or female, whether you're black or white. Well, it matters on the chessboard whether you're black or white, but in general, it is a very, very inclusive game, and it doesn't matter whether you're able-bodied or have a disability as well. So there are opportunities for people. Actually, when I was I just came from St. Kitts, and I gave a simultaneous exhibition there. there was a girl there, and she's a singer actually. She's called Kay Jams, and she just rocked up at this event. I'm absolutely certain she's one of the best female players in the country, and she has uh, disabilities. She's in a wheelchair, so it's not easy for her to get around. She plays online absolutely all the time. So it's a game that's a very inclusive game, and it's very funny in a way because chess is extremely old. It's 1,500 years old, but it's also a game for the modern era. So you have computers, you have engines, you can play on the internet, you can get involved this way, and I'll give you another example of that sort of thing. In FIDE, we started a competition which is called Chess for Freedom, and this is an intercontinental prison championship. You can't have an intercontinental prison football championship. There are difficulties. They stay in their prisons and they play online, and they play people from all over the world. So it is a game that brings people together. Our motto is Genzu Nasumas, we are one family. That's what it means, and I very much feel that. So priorities are more players, particularly the youth, because these are going to be the players of the future. The current world champion, Gukesh, he won the world championship at the age of 18. So it's a young person's game. People, like in all sports, they're reaching their peak in their 20s and their 30s usually, sometimes in their late teens if they are prodigious. So those, I think, are the ways we'd like to go. And we've had some very, very interesting and positive discussions today on the possibilities of chess tourism. And this is an extremely beautiful country where you've got good weather, sun is shining, spectacular nature, some gorgeous waterfalls, which I've had the the pleasure to see, and so I think this is the sort of place where a lot of people would be happy to come for 10 days for a tournament to indulge their passion for chess in the afternoon, but go sightseeing, do other activities in the morning, and have a nice evening themselves. And this is a model that works in other countries. One example is Thailand. Thailand is a sort of country that people like to go to. They've got good weather, good food, they've got all sorts of temples and stuff like that, great massage. Dominica has its very, very clear attractions. And I've got no doubt that in the relatively near future, we can be having international tournaments here where literally hundreds of people are coming into the country, enjoying the hospitality, enjoying everything of what Dominica has to offer, and indulging their passion as well. So I think these are the main targets moving forward.
Yes, yes, thank you, Grandmaster Nigel. Short, and I just wanted to make one clarification. We spoke to the president of the HTA. It wasn't the Minister of Tourism,
Oh, sorry.
but we
Sorry.
will
Sorry.
we will eventually speak with her.
Yeah, sorry,
Is a
sorry,
big
sorry.
she's a big sports
Yeah.
enthusiast, so
Yeah.
we will eventually speak with her.
Yeah.
But yes, and just to you notice he mentioned the youth a lot, right? And we are currently trying to get chess as school programs, like chess education as school programs. And in other countries that has worked well, you have teachers teaching kids and they having fun learning chess. It's a very easy subject to have fun learning, and if they can grow up with that, because the grandmasters we have today, they grew up playing chess. They didn't start at my age. I mean, I'm almost 60, I'm 30 going on 60. So, but they started very young, like 8, 9. One of the most famous chess players, sorry, currently in the world, Magnus Carlsen, started very, very young. And, and he grew up playing that game, and he's 6-time world champion. Undefeated, by the way, he chose not to defend his title. So we want to get chess into schools, and the students we currently have playing chess, we had 4 outstanding achievements in the at graduations. Pierre Charles Secondary School, Walson Packet, valedictorian. Isaiah Thomas Secondary School, Gideon Bello, valedictorian. St. Mary's Academy, Noah Sorrendo, valedictorian. Convent High School, Serena Harris, salutatorian. All of these are chess players. And we still even had, in the lower forms, outstanding students such as Zadi Trokad, most outstanding performer in the Dominican Grammar School. Lucas Sorrendo, most outstanding third former at the St. Mary's Academy. Our chess players are doing things. And and the second to Lucas in the St. Mary's Academy in the third formers was Kajani Deja, chess player. So we are in talks with we are opening talks. The chief education officer, he is in favor of having chess activities in the school. He's worried about the curriculum pressure for the teachers. So we just need to find a way to work out certain bugs, but this is very possible that we can have a proper chess curriculum in the school, and it's going to be fun for the kids, and the teachers will be surprised. It would be fun for them as well. So we're going to work closely with them on that, and that's one of our biggest take-ons. And even for the year coming, the International Chess Federation is pushing chess in education, and we are looking to be on board with that. So, thank you again, Grandmaster Nigel Short. Really appreciate that.
So, if you would. Yeah, we've got these. We have a special program for. It's basically using chess as an educational tool rather than teaching chess in itself. So this is much more effective when it's going with the younger kids, primary school kids. So these are existing, already well-developed programs that have been tried around the world. So I'd like to see this here. It's always an uphill task getting chess as part of the curriculum, as an extracurricular activity. It's in a huge number of countries globally. As part of the curriculum, you think it's in about 30 countries worldwide. So this is not so easy to attain, not to say it's impossible, but these things, they usually involve pilot programs established in 1 or 2 schools, and people assess the results as a result, the results of these pilot programs and make their decisions after that.
Yes. Thank you very much again, Grandmaster Nigel Short. We'll be taking questions.
Based on the youth tournament. Talk to it. Oh, just look at it. Based on the youth tournament that you mentioned, what is the exact date of that tournament? Is it at end of year?
So we have technically two youth tournaments coming up. So on November 5th and 6th, we are going to have the schools tournament. And that should be taking place at the Dominica State College like it did last year. We will finalize the venue, but the dates are set for November 5th and 6th. The youth tournament, the under 18 junior tournament, which we did last year, it should be in December. The exact dates for that one has not been decided as yet. But what we do know is we are having that one. We have the interest. We have the there are multiple venues we know that we can use. You know, there are a lot of people who support chess, like the University of the West Indies. We meet there every Thursday to play chess, and they have lent us their venue for our meetings, for various activities again. Um, the Dominica State College we have used there for our chess tournaments, like as in our senior chess tournaments and our youth chess tournaments. So we have venues we can go to. So we know that this is something that is going to happen. We have the players ready to play, and we are ready to create the avenue for them to play and showcase their skills. So we will let you know the dates. It wouldn't be too long ago, but we'll let you know the dates.
In terms for the federation itself, Dominica Chess Federation, what is the general mandate of the Dominica Chess Federation itself?
Say that again.
What's the general mandate for the Dominica Chess, or in a nutshell, your general objective?
So, like I said, the objective of the Dominica Chess Federation is to grow and develop chess on the island of Dominica. You know, that is our goal. But I mean, we are not just looking at chess. Like I said, we also want to use chess to elevate our country. You know.
Um, you mentioned a lot has been mentioned about the youth, for sure, by both Mr. Pastor Nigel Short and yourself. But other than just the youth who may have shown a lot of interest, what is the, how I can put it for you, what is the reception from the general public on the game of chess?
So
What reception is the federation getting?
a lot of people, when they see we do activities, they give positive feedback. I mean, I spoke to different people, and I was getting messages saying, I see you having a activity on the promenade. I just heard on the radio you were having an activity on the promenade, trying to get the end of it. And so what's the details? A friend of mine that sent that text message to me, and I had actually mentioned to her about that activity. I did advertise it on my WhatsApp status, and I did have it as my WhatsApp display picture. But I hadn't actually directly told her about it. But she heard it. She heard of it, and she asked me about it after we actually had the chess festival on the promenade. There were people saying, wow, that event was big. I didn't know that was going to be big. So, and a lot of people were saying that that was a big event. There are people who have suggested that because we have a big chess set, we had it out, for use. And there is someone who suggested to me that we take that big chess set and take it to crawl in the streets and have it there as an activity for people to take part in. People when they see chess happening, they like the idea of it. And there are people who have said to me, I want them to play chess. They are parents of students, you know. They say, I want to learn to play chess. Some of them say, I don't know anything about chess, but my child playing, I just come to support him. And all of those things we need is generally, so what I'm saying is that we generally get a good reception from the people who actually see what's happening.
I think one of the challenges that chess faces, although it is very, very widespread, in most countries, it's very much a minority sport. It's only in a limited number of countries that it is really, really mainstream. So I think we suffer a little bit from visibility. And these sort of events, like events in public, I think are really important. I've seen this in many countries around the world. A few years ago, it was 3 years ago, I was in Papua New Guinea, in Port Moresby in Papua New Guinea, and we had an event there in a shopping mall. And in general, you would say, not a lot of people play chess in Papua New Guinea, but there were literally hundreds of people watching this exhibition. And whether they knew how to play chess or not, I don't know, but they were fascinated by the spectacle. So I think it is important to get out and get the game there, because as I say, there are so many people who are playing at home. They're playing quietly, and they're sometimes not connected. It was like you were saying, the president from the president from Puerto Rico, coming here and couldn't find anyone, and that was because there was no structure at the time. There were plenty of players here in the country, but there was no structure. And I think visibility is a challenge, and I'm in favor of having events in public, or at least semi-public arenas. The manager here at Fort Young has offered this space over here for a chess club, and it's kind of semi-open, and to bring people in. And I'm absolutely certain that amongst the guests, many of them will know how to play, and they may fancy a game of an evening, and why not? Indeed. So those things. I can tell a little story. Some years ago, I was in Greenland, and in Nuuk, the capital of Greenland, and we played indoors. Thank God, because it's cold. And we played in a shopping mall there, and I was playing a match against an Icelandic grandmaster, Johan Hjartarson, and there were lots of people watching. I mean, it's a tiny place. It's whatever. It's not even 60,000 people, so it's smaller than this country. It's got 2.1 million square kilometers, so it's a bit larger in terms of area, but small population, lots and lots of interest, and sometimes they were a bit overly interested, because I was playing, and at some moment a guy comes right up to the board with his friend and starts chatting away to his friend right next to me, and a guy in a green anorak. So I told him to shut up. Turns out he was the Prime Minister. So I'm very glad I didn't do this in North Korea, because I wouldn't be coming back. Maybe I didn't use those exact words. I maybe asked him to be a little bit quieter than he was.
But it's still short. Once you have the mic, what is your general mission here? Or as you're here in Dominica, what's your mission?
Just promoting the game.
Just to promote.
Yeah, that's it. Chess development. I think I think it's just such a beautiful game, and we can talk, and we can talk at length about the benefits for chess in society. I mean, there are programs here, chess as a remedial tool, chess for, in education, teaching kids, and we're living in a TikTok world, where people's attention spans they can be counted in seconds. So you can say that chess is teaching skills which are, they're being lost. And these are very, very important skills. But for me, primarily, chess is a lot of fun. It's a very beautiful game. I didn't start playing chess because this was going to make me a better human being. I saw a game. I thought, oh, that's interesting. And I was hooked. And it's, why do people play football? Why do people play anything? Because it's great fun. And once you get into it, once you start, you develop some sort of understanding of the game, its beauty begins to reveal itself to you. So that's basically it. I'm a great believer in chess. It's something I've done my entire life. Most of the time as a professional chess player, and in the last few years as in administration. So it's a great game, and it's nice to share that passion with other people.
I would like to ask a question. You said you have I would like to ask how many countries have you registered as federations?
201. I mean, they're slightly misleading because there are only 193 countries in the United Nations, but we have some territories as well. So FIDE has 201 members.
Okay, including
so basically every single country in the Americas has a chess federation. Everywhere in Europe except the Vatican has a chess federation. Nearly all of Africa, except 4 countries, Congo, Brazzaville, Benin, Guinea, and Guinea-Bissau. And I believe that Guinea will join FIDE this year. I visited there a few months ago, and they've already submitted their application to join FIDE. They registered, they got recognition, and they didn't find it particularly onerous, by the way. Yeah, that's it. So 201. Asia, I think it's everywhere except for North Korea, if I'm not mistaken. And there are a few missing in Oceania, but, these are small countries in they're separated by vast distances. So it's more difficult to establish a chess federation in Tuvalu, where you have, 10, 12,000 people and a speck in the Pacific Ocean, than it is to establish a federation here. In the Caribbean, at least the countries are next to each other. You're not too far.
So that's what I was going to come to. How many Caribbean islands? How many are there in the Caribbean? How many Caribbean islands
you just every country,
including the British Virgin Islands, the Cayman Islands.
Yes, okay. Correct.
So can we expect a tournament amongst the Caribbean?
Well, there are. Yeah. Well, actually, we've already we've already got the CARICOM um, a CARICOM Classic that's already in its second edition. I would like to see more events in the region. I would like to see greater collaboration because I think when these federations are Anglophone federations in particular stand together, the countries, you can point out the differences, but they have always a lot in common, more in common than what divides them. So if they stand together, then this is a very significant block, and can be very influential in the chess world. I've got no doubt.
To touch again on the tournaments in the Caribbean, in Trinidad recently, there was a zonal tournament, and the one of our members, Sir Larry Thomas, he took part. He actually traveled there on his own, just to take part in the tournament, and earned earned a candidate master title with provision. He now just needs to get to the rating, and then he will officially have the title of candidate master. So we technically have two candidate masters on island. Now, Cuba has had the Capablanca Memorial Tournament for years. They, coming closer to Dominica, the Cayman Islands have a tournament that they host. I believe every year. I just can't remember the exact name of it, but they have this big tournament, and people all over the world travel to that tournament to take part in it. And we are looking to have even more tournaments in the Caribbean as well. So even I think in Aruba, there's going to be, but that one is a youth tournament, but different categories. There will be a tournament in October, I believe. I am not certain as to whether we are sending somebody as yet. We would like to have representation at that tournament as well.
Yeah, if you're talking about well, certainly Cuba is the dominant force in the Caribbean. I mean, they have a very long and strong chess history, and they've got many grandmasters and lots of tournaments. But other places have, Puerto Rico. Curacao 1962 was one of the most important chess tournaments in history. It's a very famous tournament. It was before I was born, and that's saying quite a lot. So there has been a lot of expansion recently, and I think it's a matter of coordinating things better in the region. These are still early days. This is a young federation here in Dominica, and most of or a lot of the other federations are fairly young. I mentioned Barbados has been going for a long time, and also Trinidad, but Jamaica too. But the most of the federations are relatively young. So I think we are beginning to see greater cooperation, and that can only be positive for the development in this region.
Mhm.
Yes.
Question is just to close up. One would be, when do you hope to see the Dominican Chess Federation, let's just say in the next 3 to 5 years? And the final question would be, has the federation given thought to collaborate, since we speak in collaboration, collaborate with the Dominican Football Association? Reason being, the Dominican Football Association has a national football team. Men, women, there's youth. Like you mentioned, youth is interested in chess as well. So there are youth teams, there are women senior team, men senior team. So in times when they are preparing for tournaments, like to have a sort of like a day or maybe a couple hours where chess is either being taught or played with them, because football is a game like you're watching a chessboard where you're passing the ball around. So has the federation given thought to collaborating at least with the Dominican Football Association on that aspect where you work on the player's mindset?
Okay, so just to understand, you're specifically speaking about the Dominica
Just
Football
just
Association, right?
football, seeing that we're looking at, because if we sit and we play the game of chess, both of us we're looking at a board. But if we sit at the stadium and we're sitting high up, we're looking at guys running around on a pitch, which you can almost as if link it to playing chess because you're passing around. No,
Okay, so I'm going to answer and then I'll
at least
expound
we're
on it.
looking at their mindset.
So now, the first question: where do I see the Dominica Chess Federation in the next 3 to 5 years? I honestly see us having our first, at least regional tournament, regional events. And I will just let you in on a little secret. We are actually in talks of developing that. I have a few ideas, and I have spoken to a couple very positive people. And when I say positive, I mean like they forward thinking, and they even opened my mind even further than what I was thinking of. So we are looking to see how we can work close to these people so that we can start getting things going. Now, as far as the Dominica Football Association, we have specifically had talks about that because we spoke with President Glenn Etienne about that. He has actually asked me about doing that, and not just the Football Association, but other associations would like that to happen as well, and we are very much willing to do that, and we will be seeing how we can work work that out with them. You know, is just to meet, speak, and make a decision as to how we're going about with this. So officially, we haven't planned anything as yet, but the question has come up.
It's a very original idea, a very original suggestion, but actually, it's already happened in other countries. So they've already done this in Jamaica. So the Chess Federation and the Football Federation, they've been involved, and the former president, Ian Wilkinson, KC, he was directly involved in introducing chess to members of the national team. So, and I think this has gone well. So it's a wild idea. I would say it's a sort of off the wall idea, but you're actually not the first person to think of it. Yeah.
But do you think that it actually helps in terms of whatever sport? But do you think
I think it can help. I don't want to say that chess is a universal panacea. It isn't, but um, I think there are skills which are required in chess, which they could be useful in other sports. Thinking about things in a slightly different way. It's coming from you're coming from a different angle there, and sometimes these approaches, when you're in your discipline, football, and you're used to doing things in a football way, that sometimes when you come from a side different angle altogether, it can open the mind, and it can be beneficial. But I wouldn't like to make outrageous claims that this is going to, utterly transform everything, but it could definitely have an effect on some people. If you talk about other sports, it's fascinating actually. The number of boxers who play chess is really pretty high. It's somehow pugilism and mental pugilism. That's what chess is. It's mental boxing, and you wouldn't think these disciplines have anything at all in common. But a lot of boxers like Lennox Lewis, he was a huge chess fan. In the Philippines, Senator Manny Pacquiao, multiple times world champion, massive chess fan. I mean, he plays regularly. So it's interesting how some people in other sports are very much attracted to it. So a kind of off the wall idea, but an interesting one. And thank you for your question.
One last question.
Just before, so being a basketball player myself, I know I don't look like it, but yes, I do know how to play basketball, and I used to play basketball regularly. Um, and specifically in the point guard role. And when you're a point guard, you have to think a lot. And from watching football, I watch football. I love watching football. I'm an Arsenal fan. Yeah, so they figure out why I'm specifically saying I'm an Arsenal fan and also Barcelona. Why? Because the way they play football is very tactical. They use a lot of tactical movements. They generally, traditional Arsenal and Barcelona, they would make tactical moves with the ball. They like what they call tactics. They refer to tiki taka football, but they that's the style, and that's what I found beautiful. And I think it's because I play chess, and there's so much thinking to do. And when you're point guard on the basketball court, you have to see a lot. One of the things they look for in a point guard is your vision. If you don't have vision, they generally would not want you have you as a point guard. If you have exceptional athletic skills and you can shoot and dribble well and do all that, you can probably still be like a hybrid point guard. But when you have a good point guard, it's somebody with vision that makes a great point guard. Right, So chess actually helps with that. I can tell you, chess helps with that because you sit on a chessboard and you have to visualize the entire board. The board might look small to you, but when the game gets to a certain point, there's something happening there. There's something happening there. There's something happening there. There's things happening all over the board. And if you keep your attention too much on one side of the board, that can cost you greatly. You have to be able to see the entire board, watch the entire position. It's not just see, this exists in front of me, but look at what is happening, analyze what is happening in the entire board to help you make a decision of what is the best move to make. And I think having that ability, whether you play chess, basketball, football, that is going to help your game. So I think if we can get basketball players and football players and so on thinking like that, I believe it can help develop their game at least on a mental capacity, on a tactical level, where they can envision and anticipate, as you mentioned, things. Yeah, you have one more question, please.
Yes. That one is sort of a fun question to Master Show. How many what's the most hours have you played for a game? One game. What's the longest?
Yeah. I mean, I played one game that lasted over 11 hours. That was my longest game. It's actually impossible to play a game of that length these days because the time controls don't allow it. I played against. I was a tournament game in Spain, in Linares in Andalusia, and I played against Valery Salov, who was a very strange guy, unfortunately completely nuts these days. He wasn't nuts at the time. And he was just enjoying it. There are some people who just like playing chess. In cricket, Geoffrey Boycott in England, he just liked to bat, and it didn't matter if he would bat for 5 days. He was quite happy batting for 5 days, don't care about the result. And he just liked to play chess. And the longer I fell into a position where I was cramped, I was under pressure, but victory was not easy. So he just was playing. He just went around and around and around, and I was thwarting, and I had to be vigilant for 11 hours, and then around move 150 or something, I blundered, and I allowed him to win quickly from that point, and it went to 160 odd moves. So it was the longest game I played. And actually, if I'd put up the proper defense, we would have been strong contenders for the longest game of all time, because he was intending to win it as slowly as possible. I mean, there are some people, he should have been a torturer, The point of being a torturer is not to kill the person immediately, because that's just, then you're a butcher. But a torturer does it really, really slowly and relishes every single second of your pain. So that was his mentality.
And can I add to that? What have been your shortest?
The shortest game was against me, 3 moves. I'm just joking.
That's an exaggeration. I'm trying to think. I honestly don't know what my shortest tournament game is. I mean, it would be a game. I don't think I've won a game in under 10 moves. I do in these exhibitions when I'm playing against very weak players. I can do that, but in a tournament game, something in the teens, I don't know exactly what is my fastest victory. I mean, it would be quite easy to check. I could go on the database and have a look at that, but I'm guessing 15 moves or something.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Yes. So, thank you very much, Grandmaster Shot, for coming to our island and doing this. Yes. And thank you guys thank you for showing up to this press conference, and thank you for all the questions. They were great questions, and I really enjoyed this interview, and I'm looking forward to another one. I'm looking forward to the support of the Dominican public on a whole, and going forward, we do intend to have some big events, so keep your eyes open for that. Just to let you know, our next event is our national tournament qualifiers on September 10th to September 12th. So look out for a registration form so you can participate. Sorry, October. I'm sorry, October 10th to 12th. I live it in the past. I'm sorry. Yes. So once again, thank you guys. That's it.